Hello everybody and welcome to the 2020 North Carolina Senate prediction between Thom Tillis, the Republican incumbent, and Cal Cunningham, the Democrat. This prediction is as of July 13th, 2020 and based on a number of different polls, polling averages, data, and historical trends that help you predict and forecast presidential elections, Senate elections, and House elections. Without further ado, let's get right into it, starting out with the data. The Real Clear Politics polling average has Cal Cunningham 3.7 points ahead of Thom Tillis at 44.2% to Thom Tillis' 40.5% in North Carolina. As for the latest poll conducted by Public Policy Polling on July 9th, 2020, they had Cunningham ahead by 8 points, a significant margin of lead in a state as competitive as North Carolina. They had Cal Cunningham at 47% to Thom Tillis at 39%. It's important to note how much of the electorate, at least in this poll, is undecided on who they want to vote for this November. However, Cunningham does hold a lead in polling numbers. As for the JHK Forecast, they predict that Cal Cunningham has a 1.4 point advantage when all is said and done in this Senate election, with Cal Cunningham winning 50.2% to Thom Tillis' 48.8%. And as for the Our Progress forecast, the second forecast we can use to project the 2020 elections, Cal Cunningham with 49.1% and Thom Tillis at 47.7%. Interestingly, both forecasts have the exact same margin of lead for Cal Cunningham at 1.4%. And as for the data consensus, which I have compiled from all of the available data points out there, Cal Cunningham has a 3.6 point advantage at 47.6% to Thom Tillis' 44.0%. Keep in mind there is about 8 to 9% here that is undecided, as 47.6% plus 44.0% is 91.6%, so you have 8.4% of the electorate either voting for a third party or undecided in terms of the data. And the final thing to look at is the 2016 election results in North Carolina between Republican incumbent Richard Burr and Deborah Ross. Richard Burr defeated Ross by 267,000 votes in a margin of nearly 6 points, despite Ross pretty much being neck and neck and even in some polls ahead of Burr heading into Election Day. However, Burr was elected to another term in the Senate by a margin of nearly 6 points, 51.06% to Ross's 45.37%. This is a key takeaway out of this 2016 race, as polls didn't necessarily reflect the end result, which with Richard Burr greatly outperforming them. And now, without further ado, let's get right into the prediction. 10% of precincts are reporting in the state of North Carolina, and Thom Tillis holds an early advantage over Cal Cunningham with a 68,000 vote lead and a margin of 56.18% to Cunningham's 41.77%. This is a key race alert coming in out of the state of North Carolina, with mostly rural and more conservative vote coming in so far. 45% of the vote is now in North Carolina, and Thom Tillis' lead has shrunk to just 52.4% to Cal Cunningham's 45.29%. However, his voter margin of lead has extended to 152,000 votes, with more vote coming in across the state as we speak. And a lot of more urban and Democratic areas are still yet to report, as we expect this race to tighten even more in the coming hours. As expected, the race has tightened to just 3% now. 68% of precincts are reporting in North Carolina, and Thom Tillis holds just a 92,000 vote lead. It's incredibly close between these two candidates who are neck and neck in polling data heading into this election here tonight. Thom Tillis holds 50.09% to Cal Cunningham's 47.22%. A lot of vote is still out there left to be called, enough for Cal Cunningham to possibly overtake Thom Tillis. However, he's going to have to require a lot of turnout in the bigger urban areas such as Charlotte, in Raleigh, in Durham, and across the rest of North Carolina. 92% of the vote in. Take a look at how close it has become. However, Cunningham has not taken the lead over Tillis, who holds a 49.01% to 48.16% advantage. Just 37,000 votes, that's the lead for Thom Tillis, but time is running out for Cunningham in the more urban areas, with all of the vote out of Charlotte and Raleigh now counted. It's hard to see where he can make up this kind of ground here with just 8% of the vote still out there left to be counted. We can now project that Republican incumbent Thom Tillis has won re-election to another term in the North Carolina U.S. Senate race here. Over Cal Cunningham, he has defeated him by a very, very narrow margin here in the state of North Carolina, 48.71%. To Cunningham's 48.36%. This race is now called in favor of Thom Tillis, despite him holding just a 16,000 vote edge here with 100% of the vote. In very, very close was Cunningham here to making this a Democratic flip. However, to the dismay of Democrats, the Republican incumbent Tillis has won re-election to another term here. And looking at the North Carolina Senate map here, the county map with the largest 8 counties, 7 of them went to Cal Cunningham, only 1, Union County, going to Thom Tillis out of the 8 largest counties. This just goes to show you how rural and conservative the state of North Carolina is, and that is really where the strength is in elections here. Thom Tillis wins by just a 0.3% margin, despite Cunningham winning in Wake County, Mecklenburg County, Guilford County, Forsyth County, Cumberland County, Durham County, and Buncombe County. The largest 8 counties, 7 of which went to Cunningham, 1 to Tillis. And that about does it for today's video. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Please make sure to tune in next time, as well as like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll catch you all next time.